So we'd like this museum to be both a space for science fiction and fantasy lovers to come and see some of their favorite iconic props, but we also want it to be a space that is in part kind of a science center, where we're looking at what science fiction is today and what it could be 50 years from now.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Who's the only local bank with a mobile mortgage app? Farmers. Download the app to contact your lender, calculate payments, securely scan and upload documents, and check the status of your loan. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal, Farmers.
There you go.
The Trumbull County Historical Society just transferred the purchase of this building that we're in right now, 410 Main in downtown Warren, Ohio, to become a National Sci-fi and Fantasy Museum here in town. So the Trumbull County Historical Society purchased this building for $275,000. We were very fortunate that 3 city council members put up the money to allow us to buy this building. Ken McPherson, Ashley McBride, and Andy Herman all put in some of their American Rescue Plan funds, knowing the tourism and economic potential this space could have. First of all is just getting this building to museum quality standards. So we're in the process of selecting an architect. The first floor, the previous owner, Dale Bell, did a great job of maintaining the structure, but there are some just museum quality upgrades that we need to make. For instance, HVAC systems and insulation, that sort of thing, and making sure that especially the upper floors can bear the load of the exhibit equipment that we'll need. We're also in the process of developing a business plan to look at financial sustainability long term and looking at exhibit design firms to help us lay out and design the space. So we're in what I'll call the budget planning process right now of figuring out exactly how much the building renovations will be and exactly how much a contract with an exhibit design firm will cost in order to see what a campaign will look like for us. We did form a steering committee comprised of local residents and then also national science fiction and fantasy experts that are helping us guide this process, both in terms of the layout and the planning process, but also with the development and the format of the capital campaign that we'll need to do. So the building was a grocery and a produce warehouse in its history. We are currently renovating the building to meet a variety of needs that we see throughout the space. For instance, there'll be a welcome center and a cafe and a gift shop, as well as a rotating exhibit gallery so that we can pull in collections outside of the collection that we currently have. And then 2 floors of exhibit spaces. And then we hope to create the 4th floor as an event space so that weddings, receptions with sci-fi and fantasy themes could also be held here. There's lots of collections throughout the United States of sci-fi and fantasy works, but there is not currently in the United States a science fiction and fantasy museum. So our hope is to hold and host those collections here on a rotating basis. For instance, there are so many Star Trek fan clubs throughout the United States. We would hope to eventually do a Star Trek exhibit here. Things like that are more thematic, where we can draw in collections not from our area. Another good example would be the Pop Museum in Seattle. It has a lot of the same overlap in the themes that we want to focus on. They have a good section there on sci-fi and fantasy. So we'd like to be able to loan from places like them and also the Smithsonian and to bring nationally significant collections here to Warren. There is actually a quote from the Los Angeles Times when they did an interview with John Zabrocki about his collection. They said in that article that John Zabrocki, unlike any other person, has probably envisioned what the future would look like. And I think that is so true. In creating the props that he did, he was very much looking at what a futuristic society could be, what it would look like, especially what technology would be available then. When you look at things in the 70s from talking on your phone or things like FaceTime, those were things that were science fiction that of course now are reality. So we'd like this museum to be both a space for science fiction and fantasy lovers to come and see some of their favorite iconic props, but we also want it to be a space that is in part kind of a science center, where we're looking at what science fiction is today and what it could be 50 years from now.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Who's the only local bank with a mobile mortgage app? Farmers. Download the app to contact your lender, calculate payments, securely scan and upload documents, and check the status of your loan. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal, Farmers.